Like I was saying, anytime you want to remove roots, this one is square root. It's called square root. You know what to do. When you remove square root to the other side, it becomes what?
If you square with square.
It becomes
Uh,
square. Very good. So bear that in mind first. But if you look at here, we want to find this letter X. And finding letter X, solving for X implies that everything around X, you must remove them away from its side. Since this X is located to the right of equal sign, every other thing around it, move them to the left. Like this -7 will be moved away and this square root will be moved away. But which one are we moving first? It's also
there.
important. Is it the -7 or the square root?
Hmm. We are moving. Okay, so we are moving
Which one should we move away first?
the ne- the it's the square root.
The square root, because if you look at this -7, the square root covers everything. So it is the one that covers everything that you first remove in this case. But suppose it does not cover everything. Suppose we have something like -7, we now have roots on X alone. So this -7 would have been a coefficient. You remove this coefficient first. Then you are left with √7 before you now remove the square root. Is it clear? You first remove this coefficient -7 first. So you are
Uh-huh.
left with √x, square root of x. It is that square root you now move last. But in this case is different. It is the square root we want to remove first. And since you know that removing square root will become what?
Square.
Square. You now say square both sides. Since you know it will become square, just say square both sides. Square both sides. What you are implying is that if you square this side, if you square this left side and you square the right side, square and square root will cancel. But rather than doing that, just imagine you have moved this square root to the left and it has become square there. So you now have 2 squared equals to x minus 7 left. Don't forget, you can't hit your cake and still have it. So you already removed that square root to the left. That's the one that becomes square here. So you don't have square root here again. Is that taken?
Yes.
Okay, so from here, what does 2 square imply? What is 2 squared?
Two square.
By now,
Oh, um, um. Oh, so two square. It's 4.
it's 4. That is 2 times 2. Is that clear? 3 square is 3 times 3. 7 square is 7 times 7. But if it is 7 to the power of 3, that we call 7 cube. So it will be 7 times 7 times 7. 2 cube is 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 square here gives 4. That is 2 times 2 equals to x minus 7. If you look at where we are now, hello, can you see it? This
Yes.
equation here has gone back to something we have done before. What do we do when you have some things like this? 4 equals to x minus 7. What do you do?
Um. Do
What
we?
statement do you make when you
Oh.
solve
Oh.
equation and it becomes something like this?
We collect like tones.
Yes, because that -7 here is not a coefficient. You can say divide both side by -7. This -7 is not a coefficient. It's not multiplying this letter. So the only way is for you to transfer it to the other side as if it has migrated there. And you have 4. When it gets to the left, it becomes positive, isn't it?
Yes.
So 4 plus 7 equals to what do you have left on the right? X.
Oh.
Is it not? It's only
Um,
-7 that moved to the left. It has become positive there. So on the right, we have our letter left there, x. So 4 plus 7 now will give you 11 equals
Okay.
x. This implies that if 11 equals to x, it means that x equals to
11.
yes. Please quickly copy that.
Okay. I'm done.
All right. So we'll take number 4.
So 4.
Number 4 is okay. We left, sorry, we took number 4 instead of number 3. So let's, sorry, the solution here is for number 4.
Oh, okay.
So we can now put 3 here. For the third one, what we have is 3x squared equals 75. Look at this one. If you want to solve this equation, you know solving implies we try and move away every other thing around the letter, every other obstacles around the letter. Like this coefficient 3, we remove it, and this power 2 cos squared, we also remove it. What are the processes of removing them? If you remove square to the other side, it becomes what? Square root. If you remove
Yes.
coefficient to the other side, it becomes what? What do you do to remove coefficient? You divide both sides by 8, right? Since
Yeah.
a coefficient is attached to your letter by multiplication, so you use the opposite of multiplication, division, to remove it. In this case, when you have a coefficient and you have power, and both of them are out like this, it's not that maybe it's different from when you have 3x and everything is now squared. So for this case, it is square you first remove. But this one, the square does not cover this coefficient 3. So you first remove the coefficient. Remove the coefficient first when you have something like this. And to remove the coefficient, we divide both sides by 3.
3.
Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, so you say divide both sides by 3. The essence is to remove this coefficient. To remove this coefficient. So we have, and that gives us 3x squared over 3 equals to 75 over 3. So from there, this and this will take care of each other. And we have left x squared equals to, you will now say, don't forget this one is 3 down here. You will now say 75 divided by 3. How can we divide this number? 75 divided by 3. So you can say 3 goes in 7. How many times can 3 go in 7?
Oh, wait, 3 goes in 7 3 times. I mean 2 times. 2 times.
2 times. Very good. Remainder what?
1.
That one, put it in front of the next digit. You will now see it as 15. You now say 3 goes in 15. How many times?
5 times.
5 times. That means 75 divided by 3 gives 25. I hope you see how it is divided. So you first say 3, start from the left and move to the right. 3 goes in 7. The number of time, write it. The remainder, move it on to the next digit. Then before you now use 3 to divide the result. But if there is no remainder, use 3 to divide the first one, write it. Then you move on to the next one straight. So that means we have 75 over 3 gives 25. 25. Can you tell me the next step to take? Look at it. Gradually, the problem is being solved. Out of the 2 obstacles here, 3 and the square, we are be able to remove these 3 coefficients by dividing both sides by it. So how do we remove this square?
square.
What do we say
Wait.
to remove square?
Oh, so when we move, wait, that means square root.
Yes, what did you say? You are correct. What did you say?
Square root.
Exactly. Move it to the other side to become square root. And the statement is take the square roots on both sides.
Oh yeah, yes.
Since you know square will become square root, just say take the square root on both sides. That means on the left side, that square will go away. You now have square root of 25 on the right. Do you get that? So you are able to achieve your aim, which is finding the value for your letter. I mean, isolating your letter. We already have that x, stand out. And that means x equals so. You now ask yourself, what is square root of 25? Square root of 25 means the number that multiplies itself 2 times, something times itself to give 25.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's 5 times 5.
Okay, that means square root of 25 is 5. And this is our answer for number 4. Okay, for question 3 now. That means we have 1 left. I want to.
What?
We have x squared divided by 4.
The razor lines.
25. 25. Since you want both sides to look like fraction, because you already have a fractional expression here, you can see the fraction, something over something. So this one, so this 25, write it as a fraction. 25 to be written as a fraction is same thing as 25 over 1. So any whole number divided by 1 is still the same number. If I say 25 divided by 1 is still 25. Do you get that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So when you have something like this, the next thing you do to clear the fraction, you now say cross multiply. Cross multiply. Cross multiply. And this implies that this x square will come and multiply this one. And this 4 will go and multiply this 25. So we now have x square multiply 1. Then you don't forget your equal sign in the middle. Then 4 is going to multiply 25. And x squared times 1 will give you x squared equals to, if you say 25, 4 times 25. So if you don't know it offhand, you can work it out. 25 times 4. 4 times 5 is 20. We keep 2.
Oh, that's going to be 100.
Okay, that's 100. And the next thing you do, the only thing that is challenged here is to remove this power, this square. And the power is square, right? It's power 2 square. How do we remove a square?
So how we remove the square is that we take the square roots.
Very good.
On both sides.
Yes, take the square root. Square roots on both sides. So this implies that taking the square root of both sides, square root must have cancelled square on x. So you have x left. Equals on the right, the square becomes square root there, which is this. And hence, finally, x equals to, you now say what square root of 100? Is there a number that multiplies itself to give 100?
Yes, 10.
That is 10. So x equals to 10. That's our final answer there.